I am really excited. I've got a couple people with me today. You know Joseph, but this is Megan, one of my viewers, and they both got to work food at different parks. So, what's it like to work in the kitchens and selling food? So, really excited. Joseph worked at Silver Dollar City, at Crossroads Pizza and other stuff, and then Megan worked at Six Flags in St. Louis. Ooh. And what were you doing there? What kitchens, restaurants, stuff?
I was a culinary lead, so I wasn't necessarily working at a specific counter, but I also wasn't a full-blown supervisor, so I kind of had to keep multiple stands stocked and running and like make sure people get their breaks at all times. So I was kind of on my feet. And by kind of, I mean really, all of the time. Yeah, actually, food service, I imagine there's really not going to be any sitting down that you get to do. So you did multiple different places. I had a Dippin' Dots stand.
Ooh, yeah. She was the Dippin' Dots person.
I was a Dippin' Dots.
So you had all the rumors. That's a roller coaster geek thing. Oh. They all say the Dippin' Dots people know everything.
Oh, I guess I didn't know that. I had a Dippin' Dots stand and pretty much just like bringing refills of Dippin' Dots in different flavors, trying not to eat them. And then I had just a couple more stands of like pretzels with cheese and soda refills, stuff like that. Okay. Yeah. And then you, sir?
Yeah, I did the thin crust pizza that was brick fired is what they call it at Silver Dollar City. And so I did everything from mixing the dough to, well, everything except putting it in the oven itself. We had like a dedicated person with a big paddle who did that. But every other part of the
So you did everything but actually cooking it?
Yeah.
They didn't trust you to cook it?
We also had calzones, but those were already made. So I don't know where they came from. Like the big kitchen, I assume they had.
Yeah, they prepped them in the kitchen under the park, I believe.
There was one time I also worked at like, because they were understaffed at some other little stall for the night, and so I worked a little side thingy there one day, but that was the only time I was ever in anywhere else.
You did Echo Hollow several times too.
That's right.
There. Yeah. Mostly pizza, variety of stuff. So I'll ask you this, what was your favorite?
I had to say my favorite thing was the pretzels with cheese, because they were just really soft, and I love that fake cheese. It's not really cheese, but it tastes good. And I don't know if I had a favorite stand. Actually, I take that back. I did have a stand near Colossus, the Ferris wheel. Okay. It's really pretty. There's good views, and it's shaded, so it wasn't ever that hot.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, one advantage, you got to... Well, you were out and about a bunch, so you weren't inside all the time. You stayed inside. Yep. Yeah.
Lucky.
You were a bum. Yeah.
So. I was getting a tan.
Yeah, like me. Did you ever get to bring any of the food home?
No. If you, like, took back food, like if you kept food back for yourself on the clock, it was considered stealing, or like you weren't allowed to buy food in your uniform, even like on your break. You weren't allowed to like come up to a stand and buy food.
That makes sense.
And there were cameras, which was just slightly intimidating.
So in other words, don't deliberately mess up something so you can have it later.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you have as far as meals?
Well, that was probably the best thing about working there is I was allowed to eat at any food place for free for lunch. And or at least at the park, like I think it was only for people in the foods department. So some people I guess weren't aware of what department I was in, and so I like it was kind of half the time I would actually be able to do that. Yeah, but then I was also able to kind of do like make whatever little thing I wanted, if assuming we weren't like really busy. So a lot of times I would like make my own little round piece of dough and just use the stuff we use for the hamburger pizza. I would just make like a giant taco.
I love that.
It was pretty good.
Tacos.
Tacos.
The other thing I know you did that I was shocked you were able to do is the end of the day, if you guys had calzones left over, you got to bring them home.
Technically. We had like, if we had some that were in the warmer that would have like gone stale by the next day or something like that, then I would sometimes be able to take some of those home, and that was good. Yeah, I missed that.
Yeah, that was nice occasionally. Yeah, but it was like, okay, long end of the day, and Joseph would come walking up with the box. I got calzones.
Dinner.
Yes. So we were talking about working with the guests, because that's where all your weird stories usually seem to come. So how often did you two work with the guests?
From the time I was a team member, which is like the first level of how you start out, you go from, at Six Flags at least, you go from team member to lead in trading to lead. It's supervisor, up. From the time I was a team member, even while I was a lead, like running around with my head cut off during the day, I would still see guests all of the time, like every single day. Even if I was like carrying a giant box of pretzels, they'd be like, "Where's the bathroom?" And I'm like,
right behind you.
yes. Exactly. Yeah, I saw them a lot.
Okay.
And I heard everything they had to say.
How often did you work with guests?
About half the time, because we had like a bunch of positions in the back actually making pizza, but then we had we working the counter, so just taking the orders and handing them off to people, going on the little mic and calling out the numbers or whatever. And I would talk to people all the time at that point. Or bussing, where, cleaning tables and...
So you really did just about everything.
Oh, yeah.
Did you cashier?
I think that's the one other position I did not do.
So no money?
Yeah, no money. But because you need a specific training to do that, along with the oven.
Have to learn how to count.
Yeah.
Math.
Yeah, learn the math.
Yeah.
I joked about the bathroom thing. Crazy stuff the guests would ask you.
I think the only real weird interactions I had, which wasn't really even the fault of the guests, it was that for whatever reason at the time, either it was because the restaurant was new or it was just super popular, we were so busy that we would get like 40-minute to hour. One time I think there was
lines
even
out the door.
Yeah, one time I think we even had like a 2-hour wait on one of the orders, because you have like these little monitors, you can see how long things have been waiting, and there was some people who were very impatient and unhappy, and so I got a few of those people, but it wasn't anything like too unordinary. That stands out.
So if somebody had been waiting an hour and a half for pizza and they weren't happy, what did you do?
I pointed them to the cashier and they gave them a refund. Or they sometimes give them like a little ticket for some free thingy somewhere to make up for it, something like that. Silver Dollar City was very good about making the guests happy.
If you were waiting for an hour and a half for pizza, they were going to do something to make amends for it and help you out. So yeah, you basically just said, sorry, go talk to them.
Not me.
So thanks. You were the one that they pointed you to, probably.
That's what I was thinking about while you were telling that story. I was that person. They were like, they would probably say something like, let me get my manager. That's not what I was, but it's kind of what I was. And I was like the line of defense before my actual supervisor, who's also running around with his head cut off. And mostly, the thing I remember most vividly is that you could get the yearly refill cups, and you get refills for like $1, or you buy it once, and then you get free refills all year.
There's a couple up here, and I got stacks at home.
Those are not dishwasher safe. None of them are.
Yeah,
and
don't put them in the dishwasher. They melt.
All of the time. That I cannot say how many times that is like listed or said or whatever, and people are like, mine's warped, mine's broken, and I'm like,
did they bring in the shriveled up little?
One time, and most of the time on something like that, like, or somebody would just like, they didn't realize the one that they bought that day was like wonky. Then that would be kind of easy, where you can just say like, oh, if you have your receipt, I can exchange it, and it would be no problem. But one time, I'm seeing it in my head right now, somebody literally brought like a dishwasher warped one, and I was like.
Can you fix this?
I did not tell you that. I did not do that.
They now have the ones where if you're the member, which is the annual pass holder, but you pay monthly, you get a new cup every year. So
I haven't had one in a while. I guess I forgot.
Yeah, I actually have 3 from 2 years ago. I didn't get one last year because of all the mess, but yeah, we're going opening weekend. We'll get new cups supposedly.
Yay!
Yeah, I'm just trying to imagine somebody bringing you a shriveled up little.
Yeah.
You don't have to imagine. Just take one of yours, put it in the microwave.
Oh
no. So at Six Flags, I know they still have an emphasis on guest service, but it's not the same level as Disney.
Oh, no.
Silver Dollar City.
No.
Disney, they bring out the shriveled up cup. Disney's just going to hand you a new one.
I know,
Not even ask a question. Six Flags, I imagine it's more like...
I know, like, what I tried to do, because I've always worked in customer service jobs, so it's, like, the only thing I know. So it's not like I wasn't going to, like, try to help them at that point, even though it was really, really not good. I was like, let me get you my manager. And then I would radio really fast. I was like... this person just brought me this and it's really funny and I'm gonna come get you too. And,
so I assume that afterwards, after you dealt with the guests, you all got together with, I can't believe they brought in
like a rare occasion when the leads or the supervisors, we would still get lunch breaks from time to time, but there would just, I mean, we were scheduled one every day. Yeah. But there were a few times where we got to go down to the employee cafe and where they would just have like the chicken strips from other restaurants and stuff like that. That was really detailed. We would all just sit there together sometimes. I love the chicken strips. We would just sit there sometimes and we would be like, oh my gosh, this person did this today. Well, this person did this today. Okay, but did your person bring you a dishwasher refillable mug?
That was the one thing that I really do miss with the employee meals. At Silver Dollar City, it was breakfast before the park opened.
That's awesome.
At Disney, it was parade time. That's when you get together and you just sit there and you start going, can you believe these crazy guests that
Honestly,
we got?
I didn't really get a chance to talk with my coworkers very often, which is kind of sad because we had lunch breaks, but we kind of just had to go on them whenever it was lunchtime, kind of. Whenever we had a moment to, and usually we would not get that chance at the same time. So I didn't really ever eat with my coworkers. I barely even really talked with them other than the few times we had a little bit of downtime, which we never really had either, because they would always tell us to keep doing something.
Yeah, because you didn't even get to eat breakfast with me very often, because you would be down there rolling out dough early in the morning. But he missed the good stuff.
Yeah.
I was kind of that person that was sending people on their lunch breaks. Like, I would get this person to, like, do everybody's lunch break, so I'm like, wow, that kind of made me feel bad, because I know nobody was getting to probably not get to eat with anybody they knew, because it was kind of on my time. I was just like, oh, makes me feel bad.
Yeah.
Because then I could technically go whenever I wanted, given everything that I needed to do was done for like a little bit, if that happened.
Yeah. Then, of course, you're trying to find your own time. Okay, when can I actually sit down? And, oh, they need me and they need me. How often did you actually get an uninterrupted break?
Uninterrupted break. See how hard I'm thinking? I would say more times than I think I expected.
Okay.
So that was good. I do remember the times I did get interrupted, though, which was fine.
We're out of cups or we're out of sauce.
Yeah.
I didn't have that problem because I just left the building for lunch, went somewhere else entirely, and just came back when it was over. So they really couldn't, even if they wanted to, interrupt me.
I also had my radio, too.
Yes. So yeah, it didn't matter where you went, you couldn't get away.
Yeah.
Whereas he did. The train, that was the same thing. We had radios there, so if we did take a break, I love the burgers up at the square. And so I would walk up, grab a burger, and walk back, but I had a radio with me all the time. Couldn't hide. So working with the guests, when you did get to do it, we talked about angry guests. Did you ever have an opportunity to go kind of above and beyond and take, and do something special for
Not
guests?
really.
Not really?
No.
Boring.
I'm kind of bad at, like, determining myself if I went above and beyond. I just am kind of awkward at doing that. But I know that once I learned and got to see how my supervisor handled some things, and there were things that, like, I could still do, taking those on made me feel a little better about myself. And then when you see the people, like, happy and you get to see that their day is better, and I'm like, okay, that was good.
I did good.
That was me, thank you.
I cleaned a table really well one time.
Ooh.
I could see it in their eyes. They liked how I cleaned it.
They could see the reflection in the table.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You had to be satisfied when somebody liked their pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that happened maybe twice. They came up and were like, that was good, and then they left. And that was it.
And you're like, I made that pizza.
But I only heard it because I was at, like, in the front counter area, so those were the times I didn't make the pizza.
Oh, well.
Because I can't hear it when I'm in the back.
See, nobody appreciated you, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Any moment stand out as, man, that was awkward?
There was one time that it was so busy that I got really stressed. And so I was in the front.
And you don't stress easy. At least outwardly.
I at least don't, I don't express my stress. But I was very stressed. And so we had like all sorts of orders coming in through the window and all sorts of orders on the screen and people coming up with questions. So I was kind of just like speed running, just like darting back and forth and doing everything. And at one point I was going so fast off so much momentum that I think I literally just spun in a circle or two. And it was just like trying to get my brain to figure out what I was doing. And the guy on the oven was this older guy. He's a nice guy. He had to tell me, just slow down. You're gonna freak out the guests.
What planet is this?
Yeah.
Spinning in circles.
I probably looked like I was about to curl up in a fetal position. Just...
It's okay.
It was just a little stressful sometimes.
That's something that, for food, I would imagine it would be a lot more stressful on a busy day for you guys than what I would deal with. Because what I dealt with didn't change. Even if you had a long line, you still kept the same routine. For you guys, if it got busy, though, it meant you had to work harder and faster.
Yeah, like the ovens can only cook pretzels so fast, and I can still, I have short legs. I can still only walk so fast. So
That's one thing I'm actually grateful with the jobs I had, is they didn't, that didn't change a whole lot.
before I tell the story, I still, like, volunteered to do this thing. It was just stressing me out because the thing that happened before that was so new to me. It was like this lemonade stand. I don't remember where it is in the park anymore, but it was in my area, and it was like frozen lemonade. So there was like blue raspberry frozen lemonade, regular, and there was frozen strawberry lemonade. I'm extremely allergic to strawberries if I eat them. Extremely allergic to strawberries if I eat them. Only if I eat them. That's why I keep saying that. But that had happened to me. I've only been allergic to strawberries for like 5 years. It was still so new to me, I didn't even want anything to do with them at that point. So then I was like, I'm gonna double glove and I am gonna take this strawberry lemonade down here. And I was like holding it away from me. I was like, okay, one step at a time.
Hazard pay for that.
It was freaking me out. It was really freaking me out.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's like, if somebody walked up to you and say, what is working foods like at a theme park?
Standing on your feet for a very long time and being tired and wanting food.
And
wanting food, being around food, but no, you can't have it.
Yeah, so you see the food all the time, but you can't eat it.
Yeah.
Oh, one other thing I think I could fill in, at least for you, know that when you go home, you are going to smell like the food that you have been making all day.
Oh, I don't actually know if I ever smelled like the food that I was around because, I mean, I wore tan pants because that was the part of it.
Khakis,
like the blue shirt and the khakis. The khakis were not good for foods because all the grease that... Yeah, like you could wash them, but they wouldn't
Still
make it
showed
look better.
all the spots.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, thanks for that.
Okay, so yes, that's the other thing, is you're going to probably end up messy because food's going to splatter. And
the free food I did get was fantastic, but the job itself was...
Well, and not every place gives free food. A lot of times they'll charge you half price for it too, Yeah.
When I'm not working, no free food. I think maybe I got a discount, but it was not huge. It made it like normal price versus amusement park price.
That's something that I remember a lot, is that the discount, I don't remember what the percentage was or anything. The percentage off that we got for food and whatever else we wanted was, in my opinion, pretty good. That's a good memory.
I know when I worked at Silver Dollar City, I could actually eat in the park for less than it would cost me to go eat at McDonald's. It was like a 30 or 40% discount on food.
Well, I guess you
Something
also
like
eat differently than I do at McDonald's.
Well, yes, because you eat like this, cheap $3
like
meal.
2 McChickens and a cup of water.
I spend like $8, $9 at McDonald's.
Yeah, I don't do that.
So
I need more sweet and sour sauce than chicken nuggets.
Yeah, you want Mr. Chicken Nugget here.
Woo.
Thank you so much, Megan, for coming in, and Joseph for driving down. I pulled them both out of town to come do this, so it's been a lot of fun. I really appreciate it. Let us know your questions and comments below. Be sure to check the description. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons and my financial supporters who help make stuff like this possible. Thank you so much, and God bless. I like this. And we're recording there.
Clap.
And now, scoot over. Have you not seen my clapper?
The clap.
Oh, I have official clapper now.
What does it say?
It says,
get an official clapper.
one of my fans sent it.
What?
Yeah. Isn't that cool?
What's it say on the back?
On the back?
Yeah.
SirWillow. Here's some many more takes, only a few of them bloopers. So.
Not with me.
Okay, so, food.
Also, that's about to die.
Oh.
I brought a different battery.
Oh, okay.
So that might be important.
Well, let's pause there.
Wait, where did I put it?
Okay.
This is fun. Oh my gosh, this is going well.
Okay, so. What did you mess with my reading glasses for? So, okay.
So are we looking here?
Generally there, but wherever.
I was definitely looking at both.
Okay, so
this way.
Yeah. Oh.
Show you how rude I can be.
Rude. So at one point I was, oops, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah.
Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to know about contact information, fan pages, merchandise, and more, please be sure to check the description below. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to know when I have new ones, well, make sure you hit that subscribe button right up there. And if you want to see another one of my videos, well, I've got a great one for you right here. And a huge thank you to these wonderful people here who support me on Patreon and with YouTube memberships. They get behind the scenes information, special perks, and more. If you'd like to know more about that, well, make sure you check that button right there. Thank you so much.